What's going on, everybody? This is your Astrology Horoscope for the weekend of October 5th and 6th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moon Base. Hope you guys are great. It's good to be here with all of you. If you haven't checked out my new website, alexskylesastrology.com, please go do so. The website link is in the description of this video. Super dope. Super excited to have that up and running, and so much cool stuff that I am preparing to put out via my new website. So go check that out. Here we are. I'm filming this Saturday morning as this is happening. So yesterday we had that Venus trine Saturn, which is very potent and very harmonious, very supportive. Okay. Saturn needs support right now. Now we'll move back to 13 degrees of Pisces this weekend, which we haven't felt since the spring. We're covering old territory. Mars is slowing down. Mars is going to go retrograde December 6th. So now Mars being in shadow, we're starting to feel Mars slow down. So things are going to take longer to pan out and get shit done, and that's okay. So we have to realize and remember what Mars retrogrades are about and what Mars is slowing down is like. We have to be patient. And this Venus trine Saturn is trying to be patient, of course, with Uranus and Taurus. The moon will oppose Uranus this weekend, but when this moon comes together with Venus this morning, it's going to activate that Venus trine Saturn that we had yesterday. So we went through it yesterday, and a lot of amazing things happened. Definitely on a level of commitment and partnerships that are based on faith and true deep connection. And trust. Venus in Scorpio is all about being able to trust your partner, being able to, meet each other halfway where our values can actually coincide and coexist, where they can equally support each other, right? Libra is before Scorpio, the 8th house. That's where we find balance. In the 8th house, that's where we actually have to commit, and it's like, I'm going to give you this amount. So you're going to give me this amount. I'm going to loan you this because I care about you and I trust you. This is that Venus trine Saturn moment where we can really make some solid effort towards the future. Whether it is a romantic partnership or a relationship or a marriage or a creative or business partnership. When we're talking about Scorpio, we are talking about business. We are talking about loaning money, debt, right? This Venus trine Saturn is like, what do you need? Saturn in Pisces is like, I need some support to help build my bigger vision that, isn't necessarily physical yet. And Venus is coming along saying, hey, I want to help make that real. I trust you. Let's get it done. Let's make it happen. Okay. And Venus is on its way to trine Mars as well. So it is. Let's get this shit done. This is somewhat of a grand trine. It's not exact, right? We just had Mars trine Saturn this week too, but this is all activating. So when it comes to the plans we're trying to solidify, okay, the direction we're taking and trying to get shit done with Mars in Cancer, not great in the first place, while Mars is slowing down, this is great. This weekend is a hell of a boost to really get shit done. Lock things in place, okay, especially on a creative, spiritual level. If you're doing things together, there could be great harmony and great teamwork. This is really solid teamwork energy here to really make things happen. And on a romantic level, too, this is like solid long-term commitment. So any partnerships that are taking place, that are forming at this moment here, this is a very good energy to really develop long-term relationships, long-term partnerships that, walk that line of, possession as well, but also that, you're mine, I'm yours, trust, right? This is all about trust. Venus and Scorpio is all about trust. And Pluto dispositing, this is where it gets interesting on Sunday. Before I get into that, we'll talk about Mars and Mercury too. Mercury is on its way to square over to Mars at 17. So here we go. We got Venus, we got Mars and Mercury here 17 degrees. We got to be extra careful. I said this the other day. We don't want to, get all road ragey and insane, right? Like, this is where people, their emotions get out of balance and they, things, people start to act in imbalanced ways, right? It's because it's more of a mental state, right? It's like we got to put the mental before the physical right now. Mars in Cancer is not very friendly right now. Conversations can be definitely very intense and not the most easiest conversations. But, when it comes to these partnerships and things we're trying to lock in place and, trying to set things in stone for the future when it comes to partnerships or money or business, or love, this is what Venus and Saturn are trying to do here. But there are some difficult things and some difficult things to think about to get over some humps here. And this is going to be a big hump because Mars is slowing down. So, this is a much more long-term thing. Venus and Saturn making great harmony. This is a long-term commitment, right? Mars going retrograde with Mercury squaring. There's some things over a longer period of time that are challenging that need to be talked about. We need to bring balance to those discussions and to those understandings and not let the emotions of Mars and Cancer being challenged by Mercury let our thoughts carry us into these overwhelming emotional states where we blow our lid, we get angry, we get upset, right? We lose ourselves, and we don't want to get into that place. And the solution with this Mercury square Mars is to stay balanced and have diplomatic conversations. Let's find a solution, because if we can find a solution, this is going to be a very long-term play out here in a very positive way, because when Venus trines Saturn like this, it's like, okay, this is Saturn wanting to help lock in place, some commitment between two people, right? Scorpio, let's merge. Let's both come together with our resources to create a solid plan, right? And this plan is faith-based solely. Saturn in Pisces coming back to 13 degrees this week, and this is a faith-based solely soul-based commitment. This isn't necessarily a physical thing yet, but this commitment here to whatever it is, this is going to bring payouts and payoffs and reward over the long period of time. And we know that with Mars slowing down, right? So this is a longer play out here, but that's also the issue too, is patience. Mercury will oppose Chiron, which is can be very healing. And a lot of conversations that can come up this weekend can be very healing as we get through the intensity and the insanity of that Mercury square Mars. We just have to be extra careful before the moon comes into Sag, right? So Mercury will start to oppose Chiron. That we'll have that going into Monday. But here's the real kicker that I found this weekend, was that when this moon comes to 28 degrees, it's going to trine over to Neptune. Okay, and this is very significant because the psychic energy is very high, very potent. The spiritual energy and the high vibrational Neptunian energy is incredibly high this weekend. So with the amount of positive commitments that Venus and Saturn are making for the future, and possibly things from the past too, with Saturn now at 13, think about back in the early spring going into summer, what kind of commitments were being made? Where was Saturn testing you then? Now things from the past can come up, or positive things. Positive things can show up in a Saturnian way, almost in a synchronistic or unexplainable way, where it's like, wow, that just came out of nowhere. Where it really didn't come out of nowhere. It came from whatever you were doing back in the spring. And this is bringing in new people who want to support that vision, or that, whatever you want to concrete into reality here. I think this is a very potent energy to really see through the veil. And also, with Saturn and Pisces, sometimes it's hard to keep track or keep pace of time, right? Saturn's all about time. Pisces and Neptune wants nothing to do with time. So This is kind of like I'm remembering Saturn coming back here, getting ready to go direct in November, also slowing down, preparing for its direct motion. It's like we got to remember where we were. It's like, oh yeah, I remember when I did that. That's why this is coming through now. The good things, right? So along with that, along with these amazing things coming through and, you know, these new commitments that are being made, along with the challenge from Mercury to Mars and the conversations that can be emotional and difficult and trying to find balance mentally, there's things that might come up that you knew about, that almost like in a psychic way, like I fucking knew it, right? This moon in Scorpio being disposited by Pluto. This is where secrets get revealed, right? That can play out in your benefit, or information that was hidden gets revealed that could play out for your benefit. That it's like, wow, like I'm glad I know that now. Actually, this happened yesterday to me personally, where it's like, wow, didn't know that, but now it all makes sense. And you know, this isn't the kind of energy of like, oh shit, you know. I wish I would have known that then. You were supposed to know it now. This was supposed to surface now. Okay, moon sextile Pluto. This is like detective work, right? Where the moon and Pluto are supporting each other, trying to uncover some hidden, revealing things that can be very valuable. You know, and when we're talking about our values too, like we have to, you know, of course, with the North Node in Aries and these eclipses, focus on our identity and releasing any of the baggage where we've taken on other people's identities or other people's way of being that is not ours, right? Where we lose ourselves with the South Node in Libra. Of course, we have to stay in this North Node and keep developing and cultivating that identity. But at the same time, it's like, we have to be willing to give a little bit of ourselves with this Venus and Scorpio to allow others to come through so we can make that unification to actually bring in the resources or bring in the amount of support that we need to get to the goal with this Venus trine Saturn. So then the moon will come into Sagittarius after the moon comes off of a sextile to Pluto. Sunday evening. What's the moon going to be doing for the rest of the Sunday night here? Yeah, well, the moon won't be making too many aspects as we go through the rest of Sunday. So once the moon comes into Sag, we can catch a little breath before it has to oppose Jupiter when we come into Monday, right? Well, here we are on Monday. So, yeah. Yeah, this is a very supportive weekend. I just think the only difficulty is you know, if conversations get imbalanced or get out of whack, take a step back. You know, Mars in Cancer, anytime things get overly emotional or over the top or feelings kind of go a little haywire, you know, we have to take a step back, you know, and give it some time, give it some space, right? We have the Knight of Pentacles. So with the Knight of Pentacles, I think this is a very, you know, this is like when we have to really take off the mask and not let the fear with Pluto at 29 degrees, like put us into that place where it's like, I just want to hide. I just want to lay under a blanket all weekend. Oh, Mars and Cancer. It's like, I don't want to think. You know, Mercury wants to actually find solutions this weekend, and they have to be based on your own values, not other people's values. With Venus and Scorpio and its detriment, it's like you don't want to base your values on other people's values, right? It's like you got to hold your own. And with that North Node too, it's like you got to hold your own value, you know, not take somebody else's, you know, and claim somebody else's, right? This is, you know, this is pure ownership. Also, and having to fight for your own value as well. Because the way the world is right now, this is kind of a total divide, right? Jupiter and Gemini getting ready to go direct here at 21 degrees, we can see that there's two halves, right? There's the middle area is very blurry. So this Mercury in Cancer, or this Mercury in Libra squaring Mars in Cancer, is trying to understand that. It's like, these extreme waves of highs and lows, right, with Mars in Cancer, and definitely now with Jupiter and Gemini getting ready to go direct. It's like, we have to find diplomatic solutions to bring more balance to our thoughts. And if we could bring more balance to our thoughts, our physical reality can align more with our physical being, which is not easy with Mars slowing down. So, hope you guys have a great weekend. Make sure you check out my new website, alexskylesastrology.com. I'm super stoked. Next week, I'm going to start putting up cool stuff. Still working on some things in the back end. For those of you who have showed up and said hi, or signed up, or shared on the message board, I really appreciate that. Super stoked. So, have a great weekend. This is a great weekend. A lot of support with Venus and Saturn, even through the difficulty with Mercury and Mars. But next week, things are really going to start to ramp up even more as we get towards the full moon lunar eclipse in Aries. So have a great weekend. Peace out.